Hello and welcome. You are listening to Pint Size Therapy, where we explore all things related to mental health healing, personal growth and development, emotional wellness, and the human experience in pint-sized bites. I am your host, Dr. Aletha Clark, a licensed psychotherapist, certified hypnotherapist, and master addiction counselor, and I am happy to have you here with me today as you embark on your mental wellness journey. While I appreciate you tuning in, don't forget this podcast is informational only and is not a substitute for seeking out your own mental health counseling with a licensed professional. So join me as we jump into today's episode. Welcome to another episode of Pint Size Therapy. I'm so glad you're here with me today. If you're listening to this, chances are you've been carrying a lot on your shoulders, maybe too much. And if you've been doing your best to keep going, but under the surface there's a heaviness, a sense of being tired in a way that rest doesn't fix, you might be feeling overwhelmed, anxious, emotionally stuck, or maybe just numb. Today we're going to slow everything down, just for a little while. Because before we can fix, solve, or push through, we need to pause. We need to create a space to notice what's really going on inside of us. This episode is a conversation about emotional burnout, being emotionally flooded, and what it means to reset, not just mentally, but emotionally. It's also about giving yourself permission to feel again without judgment, to breathe, and to begin again. So first, I'd like to start with a truth that's often overlooked. It is normal to feel overwhelmed at times. You're not alone. You're not failing or doing something wrong because you're anxious, irritable, or exhausted. You're human. And you're responding to a life that's likely been too much for too long. When we talk about burnout, people often imagine it is just physical or work-related. It's just exhaustion. But emotional burnout is different. It's that deep sense of depletion that happens when you've been tending to everyone else's needs, or pushing through, handling your responsibilities, and ignoring your own pain for the sake of just keeping up. Sometimes the signs are subtle. At first you might snap maybe a little bit more. You start to dread things you once enjoyed. You struggle to get up and get started. You feel foggy, disconnected, or numb. Other times, they hit like a wave. Tears you can't explain. Anxiety that shows up out of nowhere. A feeling of utter exhaustion. A shutdown that leaves you frozen. And sometimes, we just don't feel anything at all. We go through the emotions. We get up, we show up, check all the boxes, while quietly losing connection to ourselves. Have you ever had a time when you have felt consumed by anxiety, sadness, maybe even guilt? You might find yourself saying things like, I don't even know why I'm so upset. I'm just tired of feeling everything all the time. This happens when your brain and nervous system gets overloaded by stress or emotion. This is emotional flooding. Emotional flooding is one of those experiences that can catch us completely off guard. It's when your internal emotional system becomes so overwhelmed, so overloaded, that it feels like your feelings are crashing over you like a tidal wave. You might notice your heart racing, your muscles tensing, your thoughts spinning out of control, even your chest tightening. Sometimes it shows up as panic. Sometimes it's tears that come out of nowhere. Sometimes it's intense anger or shame that seems way out of proportion to the situation in front of you. But here's what's really happening underneath. Your nervous system has just hit its limit. You have ignored, you have stuffed down, and you've kept on moving without attending to your needs for far too long. And now, your brain's alarm system, that amygdala that we talk about, has essentially sounded the alarm. Too much, too fast, too intense. And in that moment, your body's job isn't to make sense of things. It's just to survive. It shuts down your reasoning. It ramps up your emotion. And often sends those signals like we talk about, right? Those fight, flight, freeze, or fawn modes. This might look like yelling. It might look like completely shutting down. It might mean you can't think straight, can't respond calmly, or suddenly feel like you're not even present in your own body. Or it might mean that you just go along or agree to things you really don't want to because you just don't have the energy to disagree, the energy to fight it out, or even to talk it out. It might mean walking away from a conversation abruptly, crying in your car, staying in bed for hours because your system simply can't take anymore. Emotional flooding is your body's way of saying, this is too much. I don't feel safe. I need to protect you. And yet, instead of listening with compassion, most of us respond with shame. We say things like, why am I like this? I should be able to handle this. I'm being too sensitive. What's wrong with me? But here's the truth. There's nothing wrong with you. Emotional flooding doesn't mean you're weak. Emotional flooding isn't a flaw. It's just information. It means you've been strong for too long without enough regulation, enough support or rest. It's a sign that your internal system needs care, not control. Think of emotional flooding like a smoke detector in your home. It may not always go off at the perfect time, but it's there to protect you, not punish you. It's a signal, not a failure, but of need. And just like a smoke detector, it's trying to alert you to something important. It's alerting you to things such as, I need space, I need safety, I need to breathe, I need to stop pretending I'm okay when I'm not. And even further, just like a smoke detector that gives that incessant beep every 10 minutes to warn us that our battery is running low, sometimes we fall into that bad habit of tuning that warning out, not attending to it until it's too late. In addition to emotional burnout and emotional flooding, we can also face emotional stuckness, that sense of being frozen or trapped in the same patterns again and again, whether it's in a relationship, work, or how you talk to yourself. You may want to feel better, do better, live differently, but the motivation just isn't there. Here's where radical acceptance comes in. Now, I want you to pause here because radical acceptance is not about giving up. It's not saying this is fine when it clearly isn't. Radical acceptance means fully acknowledging what is, not because you like it, but because resisting reality only adds suffering. It's saying, this is where I am right now, and I can meet myself here with honesty and compassion, even if I don't have all the answers. Now, let's spend a little more time with the idea of radical acceptance. I know that term can sound a little intense, likely something you've heard in a meditation retreat or a psychology textbook, but it's one of the most powerful emotional tools we have for healing in space, for peace, especially when life feels chaotic or unmanageable. So what does it really mean? At its core, radical acceptance means fully acknowledging the reality of what is happening, without trying to deny it, without trying to minimize it, and even without trying to fight against it, even when we don't like it, even when we wish it were different. So let me be really clear. Radical acceptance does not mean approval. It does not mean giving up or saying this is okay when it clearly isn't. And it does not mean you're stuck. What it does mean is this. You stop exhausting yourself trying to mentally undo the past or resist the present. Because the truth is, fighting reality often creates more suffering than reality itself. Here's why we need radical acceptance. When we refuse to accept reality, we create a painful loop. we stay stuck in resentment, in anger, in denial or despair, not because of what's happening, but because we're resisting what's already true. Think about how often we say things like, "This shouldn't be happening. I can't believe they did this to me. Why didn't I see this coming? It's not fair. This isn't how it was supposed to go." Those thoughts feel valid, and they are, but they keep us trapped in suffering when they become a cycle of resistance instead of a path towards change. So let me give you an example. Imagine someone you love let you down. Maybe they broke a promise, or maybe they're just not emotionally available in the way you need. You keep hoping they'll change. You replay those conversations in your mind, you analyze their texts, or you blame yourself. You say things to yourself like, "If I just explain it better, they'll finally show up the way I need them to." But days turn into weeks, weeks into years, and nothing changes. Radical acceptance in this situation might sound like, "I don't like this. I wish it were different. But right now, this person, they're just not capable of showing up for me in the way I need. That's the truth that I have to work with." So try to notice what happens when you make that shift. You free up emotional energy. You stop trying to rewrite someone else's story. You see them as they are. You start tending to your own needs instead of waiting for someone else to meet them. It's not giving up. It's shifting your energy from trying to change them to supporting yourself. Radical acceptance helps us move from stuckness to clarity. It lets us say, "This is where I am right now, and I can meet myself here with honesty and care, even if I don't have all the answers yet." That's the benefit of radical acceptance. It doesn't take away the pain, but it softens the struggle against it. It creates space for clarity. It creates space where you can actually see what's going on. It creates space for action, for healing, and it makes space for possibility. In therapy, we understand that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Radical acceptance is the key that helps you move from that pain to that possibility, from reaction to response. It gives you the ability to say, "This is hard, and I can still move forward in it. This hurts, and I can still show up for myself. This is not what I want, and I can still build something meaningful from here." Radical acceptance is not passive. It's the starting point of empowerment. Now, I want to slow things down even more, just for a moment. So let me ask you something. And if it feels safe, I want you to take a moment to answer honestly in your mind, or even whisper it aloud. When was the last time you checked in with yourself, genuinely, without rushing? What emotion have you been pushing down or ignoring? If your body could speak, what would it say it needs? When did you last feel like you? We spend so much time reacting, fixing, and doing that we forget to be. We ignore, sweep to the side, and keep on going, that we forget to take care of ourselves, to just sit with ourselves without pressure to perform, without pressure to improve, without pressure to solve. So let's do that now, just for a moment. Wherever you are, seated, walking, lying down, I want you to bring your attention to your breathing. You don't need to change it. I just want you to notice it. I want you to breathe in. I want you to breathe out. Imagining all the muscles from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes. Release any pressure or stress. Taking a nice, long, deep breath in and a deep breath out. Focus on relaxing. Breathing in calm and releasing the stress of the day as you breathe out. If your mind wanders, that's okay. Just gently bring it back. And now I want you to ask yourself, what am I feeling right now in this moment? What am I carrying that I haven't named? What would it feel like to stop trying to hold it all together for just a few moments? I want you to let your body answer, not your brain. No judgment, no overthinking, just notice. Maybe it's tired. Maybe it's anxious. Maybe it's blank. Just notice. And now, ask yourself, what do I need right now? Don't worry if you don't have the perfect answer. The act of asking is already a form of care. I want you to take one more deep breath and come back. I want to stress to you that you don't have to stay in survival mode. You deserve emotional space. You deserve room to breathe, to feel, to come back to yourself. You deserve an emotional reset. An emotional reset is that intentional process of pausing, of checking in with yourself and creating space to shift your internal state. It's about stepping out of automatic survival mode, where you're just pushing through, or you just keep moving and keep going, and into a place of awareness, of care and regulation. Think of it like rebooting your emotional system. Just as your phone or computer slows down when too many apps are running, your mind and body can become overwhelmed with emotions, and especially when they're layered, ignored, or suppressed. An emotional reset doesn't make the problem disappear, but it gives you a moment of clarity, of calm, of groundedness, so you can respond and react when appropriate. It often starts with small but powerful acts. Naming what you're feeling, taking a few conscious breaths, accepting where you are emotionally without judgment, reconnecting with your body and your surroundings, choosing one gentle next step. You don't have to have it all figured out to begin an emotional reset. It's not a full transformation. It's a soft return to yourself, a reminder that you are allowed to stop, to feel, to breathe, and to begin again. And the truth is, you've already started. Just by listening, just by noticing, by showing up for this moment with curiosity instead of criticism. This is the reset. You're already doing it. You're starting the process of emotional reset right here. It doesn't happen all at once, and it doesn't have to be dramatic. It's small choices. It's small movements. It's honest check-ins, intentional pauses. It's remembering that you are not a machine. You are a person. You're allowed to feel. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to come back to yourself. You are allowed to take 5 minutes for yourself to take deep cleansing breaths. Release the stress and tension from your muscles, and to take notice of what you are feeling and what you need, without judgment, but with compassion and love. I want to leave you with this. If any of this resonated, if you've been feeling emotionally burnt out, emotionally stuck, emotionally flooded, or simply disconnected from yourself, I want you to know that there is nothing wrong with you. And more importantly, you don't have to stay in this place. There are ways to gently, intentionally guide yourself out, not by force, but by curiosity, awareness, and care. If you would like to work further on reclaiming your emotional space and reconnect with who you are beneath the overwhelm, I invite you to take some time for yourself. I invite you to check in with yourself. Or find a local psychotherapist in your area to explore ways to move forward, become unstuck, begin your emotional reset. I thank you for spending this time with me. And wherever you are in your journey, whether you're overwhelmed, anxious, stuck, or just starting to notice that something needs to change, please remember this. You are allowed to feel what you feel. You are allowed to start again. You are already worthy of care. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. You're doing better than you think. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. As always, thank you for joining me today on Pint-Sized Therapy. If you found this conversation meaningful, I invite you to leave me a comment, like, subscribe, and share with your family and friends. Come visit my website at pintsizedtherapy.com and my Etsy shop at pintsizedtherapy.etsy.com, where you will find resources to accompany our various discussions and encourage you to continue your wellness journey. Once again, I am Dr. Aletha Clark. Until next time, remember to protect your peace and take care of your mental health.